this is going to be your best podcast ever.
Epicurean, but OFC and pink lemonade's pretty damn good. It'll put your boat in the marsh. Jesus did not die so you could eat yellow number 5. Excitable.
The nose starts off gentle with noticeable sense of grain that takes shape in the form of fresh baked bread.
Ma'am, you're in the wrong podcast. Educated-ish. I have used the term overproof for so long without really knowing what it
constitutes.
Because for me...
Is there a definition officially?
Welcome to Bitches and Bourbon. And we're live. Hello, Reba.
Hello. Good. How are you?
We have a full house today.
I know. I'm excited.
This is crazy.
First time for everything.
Oh my! I mean, like we'd had guests before.
Yes.
But we've never had such a full house.
Yep.
So what we're going to do today is we are going to do another edition of Books with Bitches and Bourbon, and to kind of add some voices to our discussion, we have invited some of the ladies from the book club. So without further ado, I am going to let them introduce themselves. Well, one you've already heard before, but we're going to let her do it anyway. Go ahead, Kobi.
Whoop whoop! It's Kobi over here.
Hello.
She's so fucking stupid.
That's me saying hey, in case you were wondering. Hello, world.
That's you said that the last time too. That's going to be like your signature.
Hello, world.
Hello,
okay,
world.
I'm going to keep it. Yep, I'm sticking with it. You know what I noticed from the last time? My favorite word is yep. Yep, you're right. Anywho,
I don't know that yep is always your favorite word because you say
I tone it down for y'all quite a bit.
Yeah, because you say fuck no pretty often.
Pretty much all the time. If it fits, it's going in. That's what she said.
Oh, and this isn't even a whiskey episode. Of course, interestingly enough, Kobe's the only one drinking.
What is wrong with y'all?
Nothing.
No,
We just
I have rum.
Oh,
that is right. The two Melissas. What?
So
That's
if you were with me and Kobe last time, you know that I go back and forth between calling her Melissa and Kobe, and I explained that that's because we do have two Melissas in our book club, and both of them are here. So hello, Miss Silva. How are you?
Hi, I'm super excited to be here. I am the other Melissa, and I am called Silva.
And what is in your cup?
Rum.
Just rum?
With a little splash, but mostly rum today. It's that kind of day. So
I hear you.
The cup that my daughter made me says may contain alcohol, depends on the day. So today is an alcohol day.
I need a T-shirt that says that.
Yes.
May contain alcohol. Depends on the day. I think that's a great
We probably
T-shirt.
still have some in our system from last night.
Oh my Lord, that was so much fun. We'll get to that. First, and lastly, and definitively not leastly, we have Miss Maria. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Maria. I have no drink. This is my first time here, so I thought I'd kind of ease my way into it. I didn't want to show my ass within the first, hour.
Challenge accepted.
I know. Let's not even get there. Okay, this is not the podcast for it, but April and I have a story to tell you. That is the wrong thing to say in her presence. I'm just saying.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
here for it.
You may be calling your son. You may.
Because while we are a fucking hot mess, we are responsible hot messes.
Yes.
Right? So welcome everybody. I'm so super excited that everybody is here. I don't know how this is going to work because we had so many voices. But like who fucking cares? Like it'll be what it's going to be, and I'm super excited about it. So Kobe and I discussed last week, we have been doing Books with Bitches and Bourbon since January. That was our first one. It was Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, where we discovered that we should pair a booze with a book for book club night. Well, then Reba and I decided that Books with Bitches and Bourbon would be a fun addition to the podcast, so we don't bore the fuck out of ourselves. We have other shit to talk about, right? So what we're doing is we're doing a couple of episodes where we're just trying to kind of speed run through the books that we've already done, just so that we have a record of it. Last week we did Butterfly Effect, Green Lights, and The Lies I Tell, right?
The stopover.
And the stopover, yes. So today what we're going to do is throw this computer out the window. And then after I throw the computer out the window, I'm going to cry, and then I'm going to have to go tell my husband he has to buy me a new one. And never mind, we're not going to do any of that. But so the first book we're going to talk about comes from, and now understand that a lot of these are not going to be super in depth. One, because not everybody was a member then. Back in, this one was October.
Before we were pairing drinks.
Before we were pairing, not everybody was a member yet. And quite frankly, I don't know what I ate yesterday. And so remembering a book that I read back in October is a little problematic as well. But we are going to go through them anyway. So the first book we're going to talk about is from October 2021. That's when we read it. It is The Murder House by James Patterson. It is a fiction mystery. I'll have more to say about the mystery part here in just a second. But it was published in 2015. It comes in at 451 pages. And so this was a book that Reba picked. And you want to tell us a little bit about that pick?
I mean, I've always been a James Patterson fan. My husband would get them for my birthday and anniversary, and all. I'm like, I had nothing but James Patterson books.
He's such a romantic.
So, of course, first time choosing, had to throw one in there as an option. And the other two were not at all even similar. So, it was just the one that was a recent publish that I hadn't read yet.
I liked that pick, too, because that was really, even though it was like the first actual book club we ever did, it kind of like set the tone for we're just not that kind of book club. Like, it doesn't have to fall into some kind of literary genre. It doesn't have to be, like, it can be mass fiction and that just be okay. And I liked it.
Like, I'll just enjoy reading, hanging out, and talking and drinking, so...
And that one was funny, too, because we did more drinking than talking, because it's a James Patterson book. Like, there's not, like, literary themes and character motivations to break down at all. Did anybody else read that one, or is this just me and Reba?
It's before our time.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's absolutely fine. We're going to...
Because we're not going to talk a whole lot about it anyway.
We're really not.
We enjoyed it, and I would recommend it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's
for James Patterson.
Yeah, it's James Patterson.
Yeah.
He's. I like him too. I actually read his Alex Cross series, which I like that one a lot. I know he it's James Patterson, so it's classified as fiction mystery. I don't know how mysterious it was.
Yeah.
Like, it says it twists and turns, and I guess it does.
There's a little bit, but
it's genre fiction, right?
Yeah.
So it. Like, you can go, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's going to happen. And, I mean, obviously, you have the points where you're like, oh, I think he's emphasizing that too much, so maybe that's not it. But it's like either A or B. Like, nothing
there was, on that one, I remember there was that little bit of a surprise at the very end of when everything unraveled of, what led to everything, but we're not going to give any spoilers.
Yeah, we try real hard, and if we do, I'm really sorry. And honestly, this book was published in 2015, so like if we spoil it for you, well, I don't know what to tell you about that. The book's getting fucking old, like it's 7 years old already. So this book, there is a house on the beach, and there's a detective who has inherited it, but it's called the Murder House because, like, there was some gruesome crime that happened there, and she's a detective, so she's trying to figure out what happened, and then there's this hunky contractor, and then there's this rich restaurant owner, and then fucking chaos ensues. So now we're going to... I just say we move on.
Yes.
Move on?
Agreed.
Okay. The next one is Kobi's favorite, so I'm just going to let you do it.
Yeah. Evelyn Hugo, The Seven Husbands. I mean, I love this book, and... I do share all the books that we read on my Instagram, and I will say I got a lot of feedback with this particular book. It was just a fun read.
Yes.
And again, I didn't even pick this book. It was...
Ashley.
Yeah, she picked it. I loved it. I just loved it from start to finish.
It's been one of my favorites that we've read.
I mean, in Seven Husbands in a Lifetime, geez Louise. But, I mean, she made it work, okay? Loved it.
She slayed it.
And I mean, I don't even want to say anything because I feel like it'll spoil any part of the book, but it is definitely one you should put on your list if you have not read it already. She is an amazing person. I mean, the whole story, why she picked the lady to do her memoir, or whatever she was calling it. I mean, wow. I don't even want to say anything because I feel like I'm going to spoil it.
Seven Husbands gives me hope.
Seven Husbands gives me a headache.
No doubt. They're all fucking pain in the ass. And I mean, I think the worst one was the first one, right? And then after that,
No,
she
the first
wised
one.
up.
The first one was okay. It was the second one. The first one was the plumber
Oh
guy.
yeah, that
right?
was out of convenience.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then we're like, all right, here we are.
Right.
The second one, you're right.
It was the
Yep.
second one. And Silva, you've read this one, yeah?
Yes, I'm like Kobi. It was one of my favorites that we've read, and then when I shared reading it, because I share on Facebook what I'm reading and stuff, tons of comments, and it was funny though because I did get some mix. Like some people just thought she was not well liked by everyone who read the book. And that shocked me because I liked her. I liked her frankness. I liked the way she lived her life. I loved her story. And so that kind of surprised me is because and again, everybody likes different and things like that. But it did it got more positive and love that book. If you haven't read it, you have to read it. But then I was a little surprised by people who were like, she made them cringe, and I was like, "Oh, she didn't make me cringe at all." I loved every piece of her story, and I loved the ways that she lived her life, and so it's been one of my favorites too.
And there's a little bit of mystery in there that you know, towards the end there, you're like, wow.
Yes.
Okay. It was a great
It's like you knew that there was something hidden, but it really kind of like, I did not expect that.
And I actually, as someone who doesn't show a whole lot of emotion or doesn't like to be in her feelings, the end of the book was, for me, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I did think that was a pretty brave, groundbreaking way. I mean, it was a huge statement ending without saying anything. Like there was no judgment passed on it. There was really, I didn't think, any resolution in the end, except for it just was what it was. And I thought that
now
was...
you know.
And now you know. And that's it. And then now you go do with that whatever
Yes.
you're going to go do with that.
Correct.
And I thought that was... Have you read this one, Maria?
I have not, but now you've convinced me that I need to order another book to stick on the shelf to
Yeah,
read.
you need to read
To
it.
read.
Don't stick it on the shelf to read. Pick it up and read it.
Yes.
It's going to be,
It's worth it.
yeah,
It
so
was
good.
It was really good. So this one was actually written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, who you may recognize because she also wrote Daisy Jones and the Six. I really liked that one. I thought that was a great read. I enjoyed reading it a ton, except for, I will say this, as I typically do, I had it on audio as well, and it has a great cast. It's got like Benjamin Pratt and Jessica Biel, and they do all the voices, and it was first of all, Daisy Jones and the Six was a great story. Then to have the voice actors read it, it was a really great read. It was a really great read. But anyway, but that's Taylor Jenkins Reid.
And they're coming out with a mini-series for it.
Oh, really?
The Seven
Yep.
Husbands?
They sure are.
Well,
They're
then
working
you
on
definitely
it.
have to read it before
Netflix,
that.
I believe, is the one that's picked it up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So this one was published in 2017. It's obviously fiction. However, if you read Daisy Jones and the Six, I was actually like looking them up. I'm like, maybe this is... But then when I researched it, I'm like, why does this sound so familiar? And then I realized it was inspired by Fleetwood Mac. And I'm like, that's why it sounds so super, super familiar. But this one, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, was published in 2017. It comes in at 389 pages. And I am going to agree with you that the second husband was the absolute positive worst. And I'm not giving any spoilers either. But I agree with Silva that I was shocked that people didn't like Evelyn. But it made sense to me that they wouldn't. And I think Harry, that's one of the characters in the book. Harry was
Yeah,
my favorite.
I mean,
Harry was my
everybody
favorite.
loves Harry.
But Evelyn is trying to divorce her second husband. I'm not giving any spoilers. I mean, this is literally like the second husband, and
Out of 7.
out of 7,
Yeah,
there's
we're good.
plenty. There's plenty there to discover. But she is divorcing her second husband, and her second husband says to her, "You are a whore, Evelyn. You let men screw you for fame, and that is why I'm leaving you." And so obviously she's distraught because, I mean, that's going to hurt almost anybody's feelings. To which, when she tells Harry about it, Harry looks at her and says, "I think you're brilliant. I think you're tough. And I think the word whore is something ignorant people throw around when they have nothing else. Isn't it awfully convenient," Harry added, "that when men make the rules, the one thing that's looked down on the most is the one thing that would bear them the greatest threat? Imagine if every single woman on the planet wanted something in exchange when she gave up her body. You'd all be ruling the place, an armed populace. Only men like me would stand a chance against you. And that's the last thing those assholes want. A world run by people like you and me. And I loved that. And I think that that kind of goes to the core of what the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was about. It's about autonomy. It's about the decisions we make. It's about who we are when we're protecting those that we love, and how decisions are not necessarily always wrong or right. Sometimes they're just necessary. And trying to judge a person's moral fortitude or a person's character based on a couple of or a lot of things that they do without taking intention and motivation into account really just doesn't work that way. There's a part where Evelyn where she's talking about how she just doesn't give a shit what people think about her anymore. And she says, because I'm 50 years old, I don't have the energy to be controlling every single thing anyone says about me until I die of old age. Like
Same girl.
Right,
Same.
right. Where she gives zero fucks.
Yes.
So I think for me, that was the overarching theme of Evelyn Hugo that I really appreciated, that I really enjoyed, and that I just thought was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and the love story attached to her and Harry.
Yes.
And the other person I will not mention.
Yeah.
But it's worth the read, too.
It was great.
Yeah, it was a wonderful book.
Reba, you liked that one too? You said yeah?
Oh, yes.
I don't think anyone
I think
in book
it's...
club had an issue with this book.
I don't know if there's one in... I mean, there's been a few in book club that I've really enjoyed, but I do think that is my favorite one that we've done.
Listen, this is a good way to kick off, though, because this is the first book club I came to was for Evelyn Hugo.
Oh,
I
was
like,
it?
Oh, my gosh. This is so great. So...
And then she's like, you fucking bitches tricked me.
No, you didn't, actually. Because right after that, we did Green Lights, which was my second favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think what she means is the drinking club couched in the guise of a book club.
No,
That is
I was
nothing new
more
around
just
here.
thinking about,
Come on
you
now.
know, the occasional not so good book.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Well, I missed the
it's a
butterfly
given.
effect, so I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, but we talked about that though, right? Like they're not all going to be bangers. It's
No.
fine, girl. Throw that wine bottle all over the place. It's fine. No, baby, everybody heard you pour it. Like no, like you are not fooling anybody.
That's not very disguisable.
No, mm-mm.
No, these mics are sensitive.
Yes,
They are very, listen,
they're very. Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot. The good thing is I use some stuff that kind of pulled. Anyway, I'm not getting into all that. But yes, all the books are not going to be good. They're just not.
And they're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Right. I mean, because we've had books that we disagree on, and we
Yeah.
talked about that the last time. And
One's like, I rated a 5. One's like, I rated a 2.
and then somebody else is like, I didn't even fucking finish that one. I've read it 3 times. I didn't finish it once.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, that's why we get together and talk about what we talk about, and so that's a lot of fun. And I like it.
I
Anybody?
ended up with a free book in that one.
Did you?
Whenever she was like, oh, yeah, I didn't even finish this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's how I ended up with the
That's
book. I'm
right.
like,
That's
sweet, I ain't
right.
got to buy it.
That's right. I forgot about that. Anybody else got anything else about Miss Evelyn Hugo?
read it.
Read it.
Yes.
For real.
And then give us your feedback.
We'd love to hear it because I thought it was fucking fantastic.
I don't want to hear shit after the show comes out and then you're like, oh, now I decided to read it. No. You read it before.
I can't do that.
I always read the book before the movie or the show comes out, and then I'm pissed off because the movie or show sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never as good as the book.
When I thought Twilight was better than the book, but mostly because I thought the book sucked. So I didn't really know how you could get much worse. So sparkly fucking vampires, like read a Anne Rice novel and get an education. But I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's really the way I feel about that one. But for me, if I don't read the book first, I'm never going to read it. I'm not slogging through 500 pages when I already know how the story goes.
It's already spoiled for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the thing about movies, because I understand how movies work, right? You can't get everything into them. But I think the thing that irritates me the most about when they take the book and then they convert it to film is when they pay zero attention to the characterization,
Yes.
right?
They leave out
Like,
important
this is
things.
not what I pictured for this person.
Moreover, it's not what I pictured because that's not who he is. It's not how he's. I'm specifically
Yeah.
thinking, I love the Longmire series. I've read every book, Craig Johnson, read every book in the Longmire series. It's fantastic. I am in love with Henry standing there. Like, just, it's Walt Longmire's best friend, and I am in love with him. Have been in love with him since book 1, and he has never done one single thing to, like, waver my loyalty, right? Sorry, Walt. Love you too, but, like, Henry is my guy. And then they come out with the TV series, and the guy that they have playing Henry is Lou Diamond Phillips. And Lou Diamond Phillips is fine. Like, he was great in La Bamba and all those kind of movies, right? But he is about a foot too short and about 100 pounds too light to be my Henry Stan. And I couldn't even watch it. Walt didn't have the right kind of swag. Henry was just not, and I didn't make it through the first episode. So that's the kind of, I'm like, did you not read the book? The author laid out the character for you. His physical stature is important. It was motivated by the author. The way they walk, the way they talk, the way they dress. The author did that for reasons. And you can't just go in there and go, fuck your reasons. I mean, I guess you can. They did it.
They do for all the movie adaptations.
God, I hate
Well, I
that.
hope that Colleen Hoover does better, considering she had like 12 of her most devoted readers in a room going over the script for the movie that they're doing for It Ends With Us. So,
Is that the one we won't read? Which one won't we read?
Verity.
Verity.
Don't read
did you read that? Or
Don't
you're
read
the one
it.
that
You
said
want a
that
free
didn't read
fucking
it.
copy? I got it. That was the biggest waste of $22 or $24. Don't fucking read it. Save yourself some time.
Everybody is. Most
Awful.
people love it.
No,
it
but
was your book
we-
club
But
that.
here's what's
We
interesting.
picked it because we thought it was going to be good, and then we got there, and everybody looked around, and we were like, "This is the shittiest book we have ever picked."
Really?
It was so bad.
That's one of those books, though. I have noticed that people are
It's
either
either
like,
one
"This is
extreme or the
best
other."
book
Yeah.
I've ever read in my whole life," or fucking burn it, right? Like,
No in
nobody-
between.
Yeah, nobody's ever gone, Colleen Hoover's Verity?
I had
It
a
was
past
alright.
client
It Ends
reach
With
out
Us
to me
is
last
pretty good.
week because I just finished another one of her books, and she sent me a private message, and she's like, "You need to read Verity." It was the last book she read, and she loved it. So it's like,
Maybe I will
I tell
borrow
her
it just
I'm
to check it
torn.
out.
I'm
You can,
torn.
oh God, you can have it. I'll
But
bring it next week.
Did you see that there's a part 2 of It Ends
Yes,
With Us
comes
coming out
in October.
October?
Yeah, you know I'm waiting. I'm ready.
Silva and I had been talking about Verity, and it's our understanding that it gets pretty dark concerning children.
Hello, Reid.
It does.
Yeah, and that's why we won't read it. Like, I can't get down that way.
It's really not that bad. It's not very detailed about it. There were a couple incidences, but
Hi.
nothing crazy.
What's the name of the other series you had mentioned earlier that you read for school?
Oh, Unwind, Neil
Okay.
Schusterman.
Thank you.
Yep, that one's great. We're going to talk about that one on a upcoming episode as well. That one was really, really good. And I say that as a person who don't, YA is not my jam, but this series is fucking good. It's real good.
I had to mark it.
Yeah, no. The next one we're gonna do, yeah, if you get it read before, but Dr. Town, who is my professor for the course where I was introduced to this trilogy, has agreed to be a guest host. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to having her
I will try to
come hang out.
get it read.
So the last one we're going to do is Surviving Savannah. This one was written by Patti Callahan.
Sorry, I'm
you
using
may
it as a
know
poster.
her from becoming Becoming Mrs. Lewis, the story of C.S. Lewis's wife or something like that, I think. Anyway, this Surviving Savannah it's a historical fiction. It was published in 2021, and it comes in at 432 pages. This one fictionalizes the sinking of a ship called the Pulaski in the, I think it was like the 1800 Georgia South, or coastal Georgia, which is why
1838.
Nice, look at me. Which is why we picked this one. This one was actually picked by Kay, and she intentionally wanted a book that had a local flavor to it, and this one definitely did.
I thought Melissa picked it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I thought.
She picked the Savannah Blues.
See, whenever I see Mary Kay Andrews, I always associate Mary Kay Andrews with you.
Right?
Kay picked Mary Kate Andrews,
But
but I've read a lot of her stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So I go to, I'll tell you, anytime that she speaks, I go to because I just enjoy her. So I that's how I got hooked into reading her books. Is I went to a luncheon and she spoke, and then I read her book. So no, I did Surviving Savannah. It was on one of the choices that I had put up.
well, that's how I got that mixed up.
Yeah.
It's all right.
No, it's fine. I know. Oh, that is not the first, nor will it be the last time I fuck up today. Today. This hour, I'm betting.
Just an early intro until
Yeah,
to see
right?
what's to come.
Yeah, just, you got to keep the bar set appropriately. Motherfuckers be getting shit twisted. So tell us about this one then, Silva, since you picked it.
I didn't know a lot about it when I picked it. What drew it to me is I'd never read anything by Patti Callahan, but I have friends who really liked her writing style. And then I liked the idea of reading about Savannah, because our book club is so diverse. We have people from like everywhere, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And the history too, the little bit of the history that's in. Also, it's neat. It's neat for me when I'm reading a book and I can say, "Oh, I've been there."
Yes.
So, like when I go on vacation or something like that, I try to find a book that is set in wherever we're going, because I just get a kick out of that, being able to say, "Oh, well, I know that place or that and that." So those were the main reasons. I never read the author before and had friends who had, and I thought that maybe the group would appreciate kind of that history in Savannah and being able to say that.
Some familiarity.
They've been there before too.
Yep.
And did you like this one?
I did. I mean, I liked it. I liked I liked saying, I liked. It made me go and look up some things that I didn't realize to see if they were authentic or not. Because you always are like, oh, is that really the case? And is that really there, or is that really the way it happened? So I thought that was really interesting. So I enjoyed that. I just thought it was entertaining. And it was an easy read. So.
I enjoyed reading it.
Yeah.
It was a lot to follow at first until like you got familiar with the characters, because it kind of jumps back and forth between current and past and a lot of different characters. But I really enjoyed it once I figured out who was who.
Yeah. I thought it was a good read as well. I love the description of Savannah throughout the book and how they presented Savannah, considering we live here. That was really important to me. And I love the storyline between, I think it's Everly and Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
And how that relationship developed over the course of the book, really, because it took to the very end to kind of see where that came to fruition. And then the storyline with the people that were involved in the crash and everything, and seeing how there was the one main character in that, I think her name was Lily. Was it Lily?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what she did to remove herself from a bad situation. And so for me, it was both what was happening now in real time, and there's a point in the book too where there's another character in the book that I won't mention, but it was interesting to see how Everly evolved over the book, because obviously she was dealing with her own issues at the very beginning with a tragic loss of her best friend, and then what happened at the end of the book, because obviously there was a lot of reservation with her and Oliver because of that, but the individual that pops on in the middle there while she's doing the research, I'm like, oh, well, is this going somewhere, or are we gonna...
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'd have been mad at it.
No, I wouldn't have.
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
I would have been absolutely fine with it.
Yep.
But no, my brain went the same place too. I'm like, this would be so great.
Yep.
No, I liked this one too. I enjoyed that Patti Callahan took like this trite idea that bad things happen for a reason, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and she takes those trite little things, and Everly actually says it in the book. She says something to the effect of, don't give me any of that mushy bullshit or whatever. Like, she says, not everyone who survives trauma becomes a better person. The idea that surviving brings everyone to a new and better place is a lie told by people who need the world to make sense. If not for, there is tragedy behind, and it trails us and it walks alongside us, but still there's the great mystery of life after. And they really did have all of these diverse stories where they went through the exact same tragedy, they experienced it different, and they came out on the other side differently.
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot. I did think about this today, though, while I was reviewing my notes, This one is actually one that we did in December of 2021. And this one, if I had thought about it for 2 seconds longer, this one would have been the first books with Bitches and Bourbon.
Yeah.
Because Myra, the friend, I think that's her name, something like that, the one that's dead.
Yeah.
Her favorite drink, her favorite whiskey was Writer's Tears. That was her go-to drink. And I love Writer's Tears for a variety of different reasons. Not all of them have to do with the way it tastes. But did you read this one? Because you're
No, this was before, because I just recently joined, so this is definitely before my time.
Maria is
But it's another one I'll add to my list.
that definitely Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo first.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
like I can't imagine what would be on top of your TBR, but that should probably catapult most of them.
For sure.
That one was really great.
Yeah.
All right, I think that probably about wraps it up. I would, since Maria didn't get to a whole lot because of her time of entry into here, what are you reading now?
Right now, I am finishing up 2 books. One of them is for a work book club. I'm a licensed mediator, and so one of the cool things is if we're a part of the book club, it counts for continuing ed classes.
Nice.
So I'm all about that. But they're usually work-related books. That one's nothing like exciting. And then the other one I'm finishing up is Rules of Civility. It was a book club read for one of my other ones. Clearly, it was interesting because I didn't read that shit before the meeting.
How many book clubs are you part of?
So 3. So Bitches and Bourbon, and then I have another one that's for runners, and then I have the one that's for work.
Oh, is that the one with Cecilia?
Yes.
Yes. I've always meaned to make it down there, but there's something about getting out of bed in the morning and driving all the way downtown that makes my brain go, no.
It's a bit of a
it's
hike
in
for
the
you guys
morning?
out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, because
I
they
wouldn't
run.
either.
Because they
We
run.
do. We
They
run. So we
They
run for a half hour before the meeting, and then we have the meeting at the coffee house. So some of us are runners, some of us are not. Some of them just show up for the book club portion of it at the coffee house.
So, like, do you have, like, if somebody says, hey, give me a book recommendation, do you have, like, a go-to?
Not really. I think it really just depends on what kind of stuff you're into. Everybody reads such a vast difference. You know, like, I've got some friends that are like murder mysteries, and some people, we did nonfiction, historical nonfiction for a while, so that was good. I really like The Nightingale.
Kristen Hanna?
Yeah, that one was really. I've read a couple of books by her, but I think the Nightingale one was the best. And then I'm stuck in that whatever Robert Jordan series. What?
Oh, it was.
Just tell me the name of it. I can't remember.
Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time.
I read the first one. It wasn't that it was that impressive, but I was invested in it. So I read the second one, and then I read the third one, and there's like 14 or 16
wow.
books. So now I'm halfway through the series, and I'm invested. I just want to know what the hell happens in the end. But each book is probably close to like 800 to 1,000 pages.
Wow.
So it's not like a weekend read where I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish it, and I'm just stuck in this damn thing.
I've only seen season 1 on Netflix, or is it on Prime?
It's on
Or-
Prime.
Okay.
It's on Prime,
I
and it
see
did
there.
not
I've
follow the
started
book.
books.
No.
It did not. Some of it followed the book, like the big things, but there were a lot of like minor details that did not follow the books. They just made shit up.
That's how I feel about Shadow and Bone.
I know which series you're talking about.
Yeah, we saw that before we read it because my daughter's reading it. And so I read the first book after watching the first season, and I was like, wow, way to just bring it down a
Ruin
notch.
it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's the other one? That movie that just came out where the crawdads sing? I have not seen it, the movie yet.
I
haven't-
did.
I haven't seen the movie
Yeah,
yet.
Did you?
I did too.
I did.
So,
I thought they did a good job with it, honestly.
right,
There
well,
are
that's good.
parts. So the only downside is they rushed the last quarter of the book, like where
Yeah.
everything kind of pulls together. It was
How they
crammed into 5
unraveled
minutes,
it. Yeah, and how
you
they
know,
unraveled
and I was
it
really, really disappointed with how they did that. But everything else is good.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have to go read that one again before I see the movie because it's been a minute.
It's been a while, yeah.
Since I've read it.
I think they do that in a lot of movie and screen adaptations. They spend so much time developing the story in the front end. Sometimes the movie is kind of slow in the beginning, and then just like you said, at the end of it, they're like, "Oh, we've only got about 15 minutes of filming time. Let's just wrap this shit
Yeah,
up."
and it's a long ass
And it gets
movie.
rushed. I heard
it's
it was
a
long, too.
2-hour movie, and so to watch the end and for them to just like deviate from what was written in the book, I was like,
Yeah. Some of it-
Okay, all of us who have read the book know that did not happen that way. Okay?
yeah. Some of the
And
stuff
that
in the
is
beginning
pretty-
seemed really drawn out.
Yeah.
And then the end seemed rushed.
It was so rushed.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is not who she is as a person. We're going to go through this whole narrative of this is who she is. And at the very end, you're going to be like, nope, she was here. No, she wasn't.
It's another one. Like, did you read the end of the book? Because that's
Yeah.
not what really happened.
Since we're talking about this, and I don't want to give the film industry like a whole bunch of shit, but there's one. I thought Prince of Tides was an amazingly well done movie. Pat Conroy happens to be one of my favorite authors. He is my favorite male author, and Prince of Tides is a beautiful book. And I think it was Nick Nolte and Barbara Streisand. I think they did a great job with that book. It didn't follow all the things, and they skipped some stuff, and just for time's sake.
Yeah.
But
it was stuff that didn't change.
It was still
the movie.
They stayed to the
by
heart
them-
of they stayed
by
to the
them
heart of the
keeping it out.
story. Yeah, and I thought that one was pretty good. All right, ladies, girl, please, you're fine. She's slurping her straw, throwing her wine glass.
Sorry.
That's a shit. I think she's trying to dance on the table. I don't even know.
Wowed me.
Whoop 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 whoop. All right then. Does anybody else have anything else? I'm hoping to get this one out before our next meeting. So when did we say that was?
The 29th
Of August. 29th of August. If it's after that, so sorry. Go to our Facebook group and you'll see when the next meeting is, or just shoot me an email, April at bitchesandbourbon.com, or look us up online, contact us. We'd love to tell you when the next meetings are. The next read is 7 days in June. Tia Williams, 7 days in June. I will go ahead and tell you that I finished it. Fucking
Yes.
thing is a banger, man.
I
That was
really
such
enjoyed
a
it.
good.
I'm excited to talk about it.
I cannot wait. That book's a fucking banger. I think I've got half of it highlighted. Like it was really, really good. And so we can't wait to talk about that one. We'll talk about that one next time. And as always, ladies, thank you so much. Podcast world, thank you for hanging out with the bitches. Until next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for hanging out with Ape and Reba on this episode of Bitches and Bourbon.
Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Until next time, here's to bad bitches and good bourbon.
Cheers.